skill range. I am the coach of this episode, Andrew. With me, our water boy, Keith,
Hello.
and our starting player, Aaron.
Hey.
This week, we played Rematch by Slow Clap. Rematch is a arcade soccer game where you are playing players that are playing a soccer game. I mean, I don't know what else I gotta give a description here.
Great description.
It's an arcade soccer game.
Rocket League, but soccer.
Yes, and Rocket League is soccer with cars. But Rematch is brought to you by Slow Clap, which, if you recognize that studio, their most recent game that was quite popular. I mean, we even did a review of it, was Sifu, where you were playing a martial artist, kind of, trying to avenge your dead master as you go back and try to kill people and try not to age too much. So you can kind of see the remnants of Sifu here in Rematch. But before we get into this, I just want to remind everyone, if you will, please go to GamePassGrabBag.com. Check out our website. You'll see all our past reviews and our scores for easy viewing if you ever want to go and check back what we gave a review for a game. But so let's get into this, whether or not this was a game or pass. So for me, Rematch. Okay, I'm going to first state that I am not a sports fan, like sports game person. With the guys here, we've tried multiple times to do, well, we actually did do it. We did a Madden season, and God, anytime we played it, it's just a miserable time for me. I try to play it. I've tried to play different sports games. For me, I find them very tedious and boring. So when I saw Rematch, I heard people talking about it, and I was like, okay, it's kind of arcadey. The only sports games I truly liked were, NFL Blitz back in the day, Mutant League Hockey on Sega Genesis. Loved that game. So when I saw this, I'm like, okay, it's kind of arcadey. I might enjoy this. And I got to say, yeah, I'm going to give this a game. So right now it's in season 0, and boy, howdy is this game in a season 0. There's definitely some rough edges here, but from what's here, I actually had a ton of fun.
Yeah. So what, about a week and a half ago, we were talking about the game we were going to play, and you suggested this, and I laughed. It's like kind of the same thing. I was like, I don't even like soccer. I like sports games. I don't really like Madden, but I play Madden. I like NCAA and all the likes. Like the NHL games. Never really been a soccer fan. I don't really like the sport as a whole. I don't care to play the games. And then playing some janky arcadey soccer game, I was like, we're really gonna do that? And then both of you immediately shut me down. We're like, no, people actually like this game. So here we are. And it's a ton of fun. It's so difficult. Like it's funny and kind of silly to say it's Rocket League but soccer, but it almost is the way that makes sense. Like if you've played Rocket League, it feels stylistically the same in its nature, but it's just truly soccer, and it's a lot of fun. So yeah, it's definitely a game. I don't know about a definite game, but definitely a game.
I know that's like kind of tricky.
It's a very weird.
Yeah, you can't really say a definite game because that's a little confusing. That means something completely different. All right. So let's give some historical context, right? So Andrew hates sports games. Keith is on some of them. Let's see, NCAA, or actually College Football 25. I have almost 11 days worth of gameplay in that game. I mean, Madden, I've played almost every single Madden over the last like 10 plus years. I've played a lot of FIFA. I like FIFA. I've had a pretty good time with that. Rocket League was a game we used to play all the time. That used to be kind of one of
Rocket League. Then definitely a ton of hours for me there.
Yeah, that used to be one of our go-tos. So with that as my historical context here, I'm going to give this a pass with an asterisk. With an asterisk that Andrew already kind of alluded to it. The game's just not there yet. You can see the bones of this game, and the bones are great. They really are. I do think that this is actually kind of worth picking up and kind of toying with a little bit, but it is very surface level on how far you're going to go with this thing. There is just not a whole lot of content going on there, and there is a decent amount of jank in this game as well.
Yeah.
So I would just say this is a pass with an asterisk. Come back in 6 months, and this might be a pass. I say might because it is totally dependent on how the developers handle it from this point. But just for now, it is a pass.
All right. So getting into the rematch, the story of rematch.
Let's talk about the story.
In the not too distant future, the Earth is getting limited on resources. So each district has these teams that kind of go into a giant arena box where they play a soccer match. You know, the winners get resources and the losers go home empty-handed. I'm just kidding. I'm making this story up. I'm just assuming this is the story due to the fact that majority of the players that you're seeing, most people play with no shoes. Most people are missing limbs. So I'm assuming this is some sort of post-apocalyptic world where people can't even afford shoes.
I was wondering if I was like, wait, where did Andrew see that story? Because there's
another game he's done that, and that's the only reason. I can't remember what it was, but that's the only reason I knew he was doing.
There was like 40% of my brain was going, he's making this up. This is just Hunger Games. But the game does start out making you believe there is a story.
I know. I was like, oh, is there going to be a campaign?
It was it was kind of a little interesting where your character is failing, and then it's just kind of showing his progress as he's getting better, and you're kind of like, oh, where's this gonna go? And,
it's a pretty long cutscene.
Yeah, it's a very long cutscene to nothing, to literally nowhere. So yeah, I did for a minute there think, oh, that there might be some type of story here, because I actually think, you're joking, Andrew, but I think this game would be more interesting if it fleshed out that way, because clearly this clearly isn't just soccer. It is something else. It is like Rocket League. You are in an arena. You are in the future. I think you're actually onto something. I think there would have been something cooler if they added that. And I'll even go a step further. Have there be different factions. So you can create characters that look different from different types of factions. I think that would be something that'd be a little interesting.
I mean, I feel like then you're starting to get into Mutant League Soccer, but I think Dimitri in the chat had it. He was asking how it compares to Soccer Story, but maybe this is just Soccer Story brought to life.
No, because Soccer Story was not even soccer, Keith.
You're playing the secret underground soccer games that you can't play in Soccer Story.
The only soccer in Soccer Story is the fact that you actually had a ball with you that you kicked around. But you didn't really play soccer games. They were just, the game was awful.
You did. But yeah, I definitely thought there was going to be more to that very, very long cutscene, at least relatively to. It didn't even tell a story by the end of it. It was just like,
no. That's my first disappointment. I was expecting a career mode.
No, I think you guys, you could. There could be a career mode, but I was expecting, there to be I think you win a championship at the end, right? Or a big game.
I don't think so. I remembered having a beginning, middle, and then no end. I kind of just remember you were just in a tutorial. Now
you're on the team and people don't hate you anymore.
I guess.
Here's the real kicker is they're gonna really hate me when they actually see me play.
I mean, that's the other thing. Then you customize a character, so you're not that character.
No.
And
in fact, you can play the coach.
And there's no dialogue, by the way, in this story. So we're talking about this cutscene. It is literally just an 8-minute cutscene, but there is no dialogue happening here. I don't know. I just think there's a way that you could have weaved a story into this to make this at least flesh out the world.
Yeah.
Not maybe, obviously you're not going to follow one main character, but flesh out the world a little bit. Like what's going on? What are some of the stakes? And better yet, I would then bring that into some type of player progression into that. There is no real progression in this game. You go up
you level up a profile.
That's it.
I mean, it would be what Andrew said, is a career mode. And in a way, they could pretty much take those tutorials and kind of wrap that into the career mode. So you don't have to have it be this 20-hour campaign. It can be 2 hours of gameplay to have a quote unquote career mode that's really just a glorified tutorial with a purpose. And that would be kind of nice.
I mean, because there's no even verse bots mode, which that kind of.
See, I mean, that's probably a down the road kind of easy ad type of thing. You see games do that all the time. the reason I would say yes to that, Aaron, is I think there's more value in some of the tutorials in the gameplay to Rematch than, say, Rocket League. Now, there's tons in Rocket League, but there's like a true mastery of flying that you could just you kind of either can do or you can't do. I think Rematch, it's all very much more doable, but there are little, like, because it's made by the people who made Sifu, there's a lot of little combinations of like combo holding, this button and this button, and you can do different things. You can like juggle your rainbow kicks. You can, head it back off to yourself off the wall a bunch of times. Like, you can do all these really cool things, but I think the tutorials actually would give you a good idea of A, knowing that you can do them, and B, knowing how to do them. And then a career mode to give you a quote unquote story.
I don't know. The tutorials are kind of rough.
So we can already blow past the story because that was it. Yeah. That's all there is to it. So Keith's already kind of jump started us a little bit into the gameplay.
Yeah. Well, hold on. Let's first explain what Rematch. I keep wanting to call it rewatch. How Rematch plays. So there's 3 different game modes. You can either do 3v3, 4v4, 5v5. Depending on how many players there are is how big, the pitch is going to be, so smaller, bigger map. But it is essentially an arcade soccer game. Everyone, there's no rules. So you're allowed to go anywhere on the field. There's no offsides, no fouls for, slide tackling people. It's not overly aggressive. So you're not looking like, FIFA Blitz or something like that. But you are essentially just getting the soccer ball, scoring to the other goal. It's very simple of passing, kicking, you're in a enclosed arena, so there's no out of bounds. So you can knock things off the wall to pass the players, but that's essentially just the game. And so it's very simple, but go ahead, Aaron.
Yeah. So talking about the gameplay, because I think this is kind of the more interesting part. By the way, I do want to push back on something you said, Andrew. I don't think the size of the pitch changes.
It does. It does.
It does?
Yes.
Yeah. It's absolutely different on 3v3.
I've played it on all 3, and it all feels exactly the same to me.
No, you really notice it when you're the goalkeeper.
But yeah, and especially if you go from 3v3 to 5v5, like I didn't do a lot of 4v4s, so I would just kind of go back and forth between those 2, and it's really noticeable.
That's interesting, because I was playing ranked even earlier today, which only plays in 5v5. So I don't know, that did not seem obvious to me, and that did not stick out at all. I guess that probably makes sense, but anyway, so obviously I think the easiest thing to compare this to is to Rocket League. And I think you can actually compare it to Rocket League for a few good reasons. 1, you've got the barrier, so there's no out of bounds. 2, very skill heavy. I would actually argue that this game is actually more skill heavy than Rocket League.
Ooh, no, I'm going to fight on that.
The reason why I would just say that is this is actually way more mechanically heavy than I expected. There are a lot of moves. In fact, I've gone back through the tutorial now 3 separate times because I was like, I forget how to do this thing. Like, it clearly taught me a thing, and I don't remember how it works. I need to go back through the tutorial and play through it again to learn it. And I'm shocked that it actually loads on a lot of skills. Most people, when you're watching people play, you can tell they know about 3. They know about 3 skills, and that's it. Every once in a while, you'd see a kid, and you're like, oh, this kid actually knows what he's doing. That's the reason why Rocket League isn't that. Rocket League, obviously the flying is a whole nother element of confusing and difficult to do in Rocket League. This, though, again, I think there's a lot more skill sets than I expected. I actually think this requires more attention. Not to mention just shooting the ball. Everything is directional based on this. You will go into this expecting to play FIFA, and it is not that at all. It is 100% skill.
So I'm going to argue, I think Rocket League is way more skill heavy. So all of us have put days in Rocket League, but to me, there's such a massive skill gap in Rocket League. It's either you know how to fly or you don't know how to fly. You could have, like us, days of gameplay hour. But we cannot beat anyone who knows how to fly. If you are able to juggle the ball in the air, and you're like just half decent at it, you're way above skill level to so many other people. Just to learn how to master how to fly is so much difficult. In Rematch, I feel like I could put numerous hours in this game and learn it and actually get better. In Rocket League, it's like I've already put so many hours in it and I still suck. Like I just can't fly. I cannot grasp that concept of how to do it.
Yeah, but to me, that's just it. Rocket League is like have or have not. That's it. This, I feel like there's actually a range because there are so many different skills to master. This one is also, again, I'll go back to what's really challenging about it. When you shoot, you have to be aiming at the net. When you pass, you can't just hit X to pass. No, it is angled. And a lot of it is not in a direction that you're looking. You're trying to pass the ball diagonally to guys that you've got in your peripheral vision. Then there's juggling. Then there is mastering how to play defense. There's mastering how to play goalie. I think Rocket League is a have or have not. Can you fly? Can you not? That's it. This, I think there's actually going to be a much wider range.
So I already kind of said this. So I'm essentially repeating myself, but I'm agreeing and disagreeing with both of you at the same time, in that I think that Rocket League is harder. That yes, it is. It's have or have not with the flying, but flying is so much harder to master than everything that Rematch has, and that's where I agree with Andrew. Is I think that, so I guess it's that Rematch is easier to master versus Rocket League. And even though there is all of these different varieties of moves, I think it fits almost a different combo, like a style of play too. Like it almost plays a little bit not like a fighting game, but you're doing all these like move combos to get through and like perform these different moves. So I think it's a different style of play, and I think it's a little bit of both. And I think you're gonna see a more even balance of it, because even to a certain degree, like you pointed out, Aaron, if you can master defense, I think that really can help you, even if you don't know some of the offensive stuff. You're going to compete well just on that alone. And in these 5v5 matches, you can kind of get away with that. Like that's, to a certain degree, Andrew can attest to this because he's played with me, a little bit of what I do. I can score. I'm not terrible. I'm not the worst person on a given match.
Yeah, you got a couple good goals last night.
But all in all, my bread and butter is really defense. It's knowing how to cut people off. And the biggest thing that people aren't necessarily good at is the difference between the steal and the slide. And if you can really kind of get that timing down well, that's where you're going to play good defense, I found.
See, I loved goalkeeper. Goalkeeper to me was a ton of fun.
In that one,
cheating a little.
Yeah.
People, and this is where I say, like, you can see it as you're playing that a lot of people know 2 or 3 things, like how to do something. They kind of know X to pass, they know right trigger to shoot, and then they might know how to kind of do that rainbow kick over somebody's head. And that's kind of like it. And you'll see them play goalie and they're not holding left trigger to go into defensive stance. They're always hitting Y.
Yeah.
When you don't need to hit Y every single time the ball is kicked. And you realize people don't understand 50% of the skills that exist in this game. There's a lot of that. Even just dribbling the ball, hitting A to kick it ahead, you lose control over it, but you avoid getting slide tackled. Or being able to dribble
with the ball,
you
lose the ball. People forget that all the time.
Or even just if you're standing still, kind of dribbling the ball and being able to maneuver the ball around somebody. All of that stuff you can see. Nobody knows how to do any of that stuff. They all don't know. And I admit I was too. That's why I kept going back to the tutorial, because I was like, wait, what button do I need to be pushing for this? You are using every stinking button on your controller. And like I said, I went into this thinking it was going to be a little bit more FIFA, or there used to be a game, I think it was called FIFA Street, maybe. They had an NFL Street. I don't know if you know.
Yeah.
It was basically like a modern day of NFL Blitz. FIFA Street was a blast to play because it was pretty much hitting 2 buttons and you could just go through the entire field. You could just, always hit Y and you would kick the ball through their legs or kick it over their head. It was just cheating. The game was just straight cheating. And I assumed that's what this game was, is it was going to feel like that. Like you could just get out there and just mess with people and it would be super easy. And it'd be like a FIFA Street. It's not like that at all. Like it is not forgiving. If you make a mistake, they are taking the ball from you very quickly.
Yeah. And that's what I love. This game really, it took me a little bit first to kind of warm up to it, but I kept I felt myself one more game, another game. Cause this is the other thing I love about this, compared to like Rocket League. Cause I know you've said before in a lot of these games, Aaron, and I do kind of agree with you of a surrender, vote to surrender. You were saying how you hate it because, a lot of people just don't even want to try. They're just going to say, I want to vote to surrender and it doesn't pass. I'm just going to sit the base. There's no vote to surrender in this game, but what this game does have is mercy rule. If you're down 4-0 or just down 4 points, game ends. The team wins. And I love that feature because that happens a lot in Rocket League. I've had times where people are beating me like 20-0 and it's like, can we just end this? And no, they just want to play the entire game. And I'm just like, this is stupid. No, this game is just done. All right, cool. I'm going to play the next game now. It just felt so much quicker to be in a match, out of a match, in a match, out of a match.
There's an unintended consequence to that, though. Have you guys experienced it yet in this game? The mercy rule.
Well, yeah, I've experienced mercy rule.
Degree, it's kind of like what Andrew was saying. It still happens. You get down by like 3-0, and then they're just like, "Oops, I accidentally dropped the ball in front of the net." I mean, I don't think that's what you're talking about.
I've had them just straight kick them into your own net. Yeah. I had a game yesterday that we were down 2-0. That was it. And he's the goalie. The ball starts with it getting kicked back to him when you're playing 3v3, kicks it right back to him, and he just turns around, just kicks it straight in our net. And I'm like, oh, so he's just trying to get to the mercy rule. So he's just going to go put it in our own net to get us to the mercy rule. And I'm like, that's stupid. I hate that a lot. I think he ended up
But I've not had that experience.
No, because I think we ended up scoring right after, and then he just left. Because now it made the mercy rule a little bit further away. So he just left. And it was okay.
What's kind of funny, my very first game, I went down 3-0. This was my very first experience playing this game. So we went down 3-0 and we ended up winning 4-3 in overtime. So I did nothing that game. It was not me, but it happened. So that's where I'm with you. It's annoying. It's also more annoying when at 2-0 people start giving up, or they're just like,
oh yeah. Oh, it's becoming a problem in everything. I know I've argued about this, especially in Marvel Rivals, where people will get livid and then we just end up winning the game, and it's like, gosh, and they're voting to quit like immediately. It's like, shut up! Like, just play the game and just shut up. This has that same type of issue. But when I did my very first ranked game, kind of going on that, Keith, we were winning 3-1 with about 1:10 left. They came back and tied it with 9 seconds left and then beat us in overtime. So
that sucks.
So this game can absolutely just flip on you. And to me, that's a good sign. Like, that's a good sign that people can still kind of dig themselves out of a hole, and you still got to kind of play it out.
Yeah. Because I've never dug myself out of a hole like in Rocket League. And that's generally why I would say Rocket League is a bigger skill gap.
No, I think you can. I think you can. This is also another thing, though, that I want to point to. I think in Rocket League, you can be a one-man army and get away with it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, if you're in Rocket League and you are truly better than the other guys, you're absolutely going to one-man army beat them out of this. I don't think you can in this game.
No.
So this one, because it's so skill heavy, everything's about precision. You can't just hit X to pass. It's X direction to pass. You've got a limited field of view. You genuinely need people that can actually make some things happen for you to win the game.
Well, part of it too is it's the physics of the game. They're not necessarily real life good physics, but it has, I want to say, fairly good collision to it. Like, so almost like kindergartners playing soccer. If anyone's ever seen a small child play soccer, everyone just sprints at the ball, and that's a little bit of what happens. Not always. I think especially as like I started to play some ranked last night, and you don't see it as much when people have figured out the game, but you can't one man army because people just get around the ball so much that you physically can't get through them. Like there's just a human wall, and you have to give up the ball to a certain degree. And then who knows if the person who gets the ball from you on your team is worth anything. So it is a struggle. And like there certainly will be people where you're like, oh, that guy just decided he wanted to score a goal real quick, and they can do it to a certain degree, but it's not as consistent as Rocket League is.
Nope. And that's another notch for this game actually being more challenging than Rocket League. So thank you guys for proving my point and adding to it. I appreciate that.
I said this game has a better middle ground and a better parity, and that just really backs up what I was saying. But thank you.
No, I won the argument.
Didn't I won because I agreed with everybody.
I do want to,
because I sat on the fence.
I do want to continue though a little bit on that gameplay, because this is where I kind of have one of my knocks. The animations are sometimes really janky. Have any of you guys noticed that?
Oh, they're very janky. This game
Okay.
has some real issues.
Which is weird because it's like really fluid in some areas. Like in some areas you feel like it's flowing, and then you'll just see some really janky animations that you're like, that was awkward.
I'm curious if it's servers though.
I don't know.
I question the quality of the servers a handful of times too.
Really?
Yeah, there's a handful of times. It's usually kind of with a goalkeeper. Like you'll see the ball literally like just magnet toward the goalkeeper and he catches it. Then there's other times where I'm the goalkeeper and I dive and it literally goes through my hands. And it's just like, to me, it can be a little inconsistent.
That's interesting. So you think that, because I guess I'm labeling up to jank, because I agree. The goalie is a great example of where things can go a little haywire, where you can kind of see a goalie do something. You're like, they just teleported to that. Basically, they didn't. Yeah. And I've been labeling that as just a graphical jank. But you think it might be server issue?
Well, it could be a little bit of both. I mean, there's definitely like animation jank. Perfect example. I brought this clip up. I don't know if you guys saw this. I've seen this kind of people doing this differently. But you can infinite juggle the ball, where you are essentially flying in the air by just constantly heading the ball.
So yeah, look at the graphic there. So the other part of this game is stuff that I've been seeing. The game is exploitable right now.
Yes.
And this is why I go back to, this is a pass right now with an asterisk. I'm going to guess most of that stuff will get fixed, where they're going to go, okay, obviously we don't want somebody just juggling the ball off of the wall where no one can touch it. And then you just get instant goals. I could just, they would have to make it where you just have some way to stop it, obviously. Yeah. So to me, things like that will get better.
So here's me riding the middle of the road again a little bit. I don't know. The server thing seems weird to me because I didn't have any server issues, just period, with the game. So just, I don't know, that being one thing that it gets attested to server issues seems weird. But as far as the jank in the goalie's perspective, I think it almost has to be because of the way that they treat the goalies as like unslide tackleable, kind of invincible once they have the ball. So they have to have like a cutoff point of when the goalie takes possession, and they just favor the goalie is what it is. So it comes off as really janky, but I think it's like tie goes to the goalie, even if it doesn't visually look it, or even like a 52-48 tie type of thing. Because there's definitely points, and this is where I realized, at least kind of the ways I was playing goalie, was just be super, super aggressive. Because if you can dive it anywhere close to the ball, your goalie is going to mostly magnet to the ball, and they're going to take priority over the person who has it. So it's just like the goalies take priority in all cases. And I don't know how they change that. If I'm right on it, is that it's janky, but it has to be that way.
I'm okay with that.
I like it.
I am too. That's what I'm saying. Is like I think it has to be that way. And
so why are you saying change it?
I said I don't know how you would change it if you were going to, but no. I didn't say they needed to change it.
My issue is an animation issue. It just doesn't look like
Sure,
the
but-
goalie should be at that point there.
But
So-
I mean, it's got to be some. They got to do something.
I get it. But it's not just there. It happens in other parts of the game as well. Like there are plenty of parts where I feel like they're forcing an animation, just like Andrew just kind of demonstrated here. If you do catch this on video, if you're watching this on Spotify, or if you're watching this on YouTube, or wherever you're watching this, that guy's juggling it off of the wall, and the animation has him flying in the air. Like there are things like that and that stuff exists with the goalie. I'm fine with giving the goalie kind of the, 60-40 on possession winning. Like I'm kind of cool with that. He kind of gets the advantage. I'm fine with that, but it just has to make sense. Like it has to be within reason. Like if I go play a goalie in FIFA right now, it's a much similar thing. You can't obviously tackle me. Well, you're going to get a red card if you tackle me, but the goalie can obviously pick up the ball and they've kind of get an advantage there. Sure. But it always makes sense. It isn't like a sliding magnetism in some sections where it just doesn't look natural. It doesn't look like it should have worked that way. So to me, that's the stuff that needs to be cleaned up. And that's all over the game. That's not just as the goalie. It's all over the place where some of those animations just don't look fluid and natural.
I mean, the other reason I think it's a little bit server too. I don't know if you guys had this bug. There was a time I booted up the match and my character just stood there and the game did not accept any controller input. I'm watching the game happening and my character can't move. I can't press start. I can't do anything. I literally had to close the entire game down and it wasn't a ranked match. So I never got disconnected from ranked match, but I couldn't rejoin that match. So I just ended up abandoning my teammates, which I felt bad about, but I'm like, I can't do anything. I don't know why it's just not working.
That's a skill issue, and you just left the game.
My
You are such a liar. You are such a liar. You're gonna blame it on the controller. Like, oh, we got mercy ruled because my controller. Yeah, okay, Andrew. Nice try.
The game was 0-0.
You're gonna make me. I don't know if I saved it. I'm like, I'm gonna see if I made a video of it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Nobody ever
hear
saves
that.
that.
Oh, I don't have it anymore.
I think I have a clip saved of every goal I've scored, but nothing else.
All
three of them.
Definitely.
Andrew took my joke. I gave him 3. Andrew only gave him 2.
You watched me score a game-winning overtime goal, and I had at least 2 others of those. So maybe if you want to count my game-winning overtime goals, Andrew.
Yeah. But I wanted to ask you guys, how good do you think the tutorial is? Because I kept playing. There's a handful of achievements to do the workshops, which of course is like, dribble through the goals, shoot at these targets. And of course you get a ranking, bronze, silver, gold. I got to say, I did not like the workshops. To me, I did not feel like, oh, I'm a better player now. I know how to shoot goals better. To me, I was just like, these are activities at best, but they weren't like skill activities. In fact, I found them to be very easy to get the gold. And it's just like, eh. So I was a little disappointed in the training.
Did you go through all of them then?
Yes.
So does it explain with shooting? Like, can you curve your shots?
It never explains that. I figured it out on my own, but it doesn't explain it.
Like
you can.
I was like, that's not just in my head, right?
Yeah. And that's what I mean. I think the tutorial is a little weak.
I don't hate the tutorial. Like I said, I went through it multiple times because I realized I only knew a certain amount of the moves. And I was like, I'll never get better if I don't know the rest of these moves. And when you're first going through the game, you don't remember every single one of them.
Yeah.
So going back through the tutorial, I mean, it was always quick to go back through it. And it did always make me feel by the end of it, okay.
The advanced tutorial? Like
I can go win this game.
A whole bunch of different stages to those.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the basic tutorial? I
might have done.
I thought there was only a basic tutorial and then there was workshops.
Or workshops, I guess is what I'm thinking about. You're not.
I'm talking through the whole tutorial because every time I was like, I want to know all the suite of things I'm supposed to know here. I'm going to go through it again and learn everything.
That's what I'm saying. You're not talking about the workshops.
No, I'm talking straight up tutorial.
Okay,
I'm fine. I'm fine with the tutorial.
Workshops was the load screen every single time, and that's why I stopped doing it.
Yeah,
even
it doesn't let you just redo the workshop.
Yeah, it's like a go back, restart. I was like, no, I'm not going to do this. Maybe they'll fix this, and then I'll come back and try them.
The other thing I was nervous about with this game, So like Rocket League, whenever, a new kickoff is happening, so obviously the team that didn't get a score, like they get the ball, it kind of kicks off to them. But I in like typical Rocket League fashion, anytime that happens, your character is automatically placed in a different position on the field. So there's always somebody who's placed in the, goalkeeper. Someone's usually center field, and then one's usually on the side of the fields. But what I was nervous about this game was like, is this going to be a game where nobody wants to be the goalkeeper and it's just always going to be an empty net? I love that. Obviously, you can communicate with your teammates, but if whoever's in the goalkeeper doesn't want to be the goalkeeper, he just leaves the box. Whoever walks into the box instantly puts on gloves and they're the goalkeeper now. And I love that because there was a lot of times I liked being goalkeeper and I would just kind of walk up to the goalkeeper and the kid would get the hit and just leave and let me be the goalkeeper. So you could just automatically switch around. But I was really nervous where I'm like, oh, this is going to be like playing Overwatch or something where no one wants to be a healer. But no, I usually never had an issue.
So what are the unintended consequences of that decision, Andrew?
What do you mean?
Why do I feel like you had nothing but like good experiences here?
I did.
And I ran into all the dum-dums.
Oh, really?
I ran into guys that are shooting on the net because they want to just get to mercy rule. I was playing a ranked game earlier today.
I mean, I don't mean to brag, but I'm bronze division 1.
Okay.
So
I started out in goal. And there's one kid just sprints and stands next to me. No, I'm not going to move. I like playing goalie, and I'm actually pretty good at it. Yeah. And he did not move. He was like, nope, I'm going to stand next to you. So we've got 3 people up there because this kid would not leave. And I'm like, this is just, get out of here. Like, leave. And he didn't. He was going to sit in the net with me. So it gave me the gloves, obviously, because I was the one that was there.
Yeah.
And he was useless. I was just so mad. So I'm glad, Andrew, that you've had nothing but good experiences where you got to run back and the guy was like, okay, you can go play. No, instead I've got the dum-dums here that are shooting on my net to get to mercy rules and then standing next to me like they can pretend to be goalie with me. And I'm like, just get out of here. I just
like I didn't get a true online experience. I didn't get to experience any of this. Fight.
It sucks.
Just had a real bad time.
I definitely had some people who, again, like they would do dumb things, handfuls here and there, but overall, no, I had more goals scored on myself, like not by me actually. I don't think I've scored a single goal on my own net so far. Just to point that out, because it is actually more difficult to do than Rocket League. Like, you basically have to slide tackle or intentionally shoot it.
Our friend Craig got a goal on himself there last night.
He slid tackled the ball right into the net.
Yeah, I hope he hears this.
But yeah, it is harder to do, but it's possible. But overall, I would say the same. I think it's harder outside of leaving or basically the goalie thing. Like, there's not as many spots where you can grief people in this game because what are you going to do? Kick the ball away from everyone? Okay, that's like 80% of what everyone does anyways. They just get the ball and just kick it as far as they can. So it's just like, all right, it doesn't change my experience at all.
Which unfortunately, there's, as far as I've seen, no punishment for any griefers. Leaving early, scoring on your own team. As far as I saw, I didn't think there was any punishments going on.
Oh, even in ranked?
I mean, no, not that I saw. I mean, granted, I never left a match, so I can't confirm, but I didn't see any. I know you can rejoin a match when it's ranked because I've had people leave and then they got rejoined. So I at least know you can rejoin on a ranked match. But there was one more point I wanted to bring up. Oh, yeah, because even too, I'm surprised you're having such a terrible time because, Keith, as you kind of mentioned, like if you see, kids in kindergarten playing soccer, like literally the entire team just chasing the ball. Even I didn't have that experience very often because this is another thing I really liked about Rematch. They have a mini map. They literally have a mini map in the bottom right corner.
I didn't realize that until into ranked play.
Oh my gosh, it's super helpful. You got to look at your mini map. And so because of that, like I could see, there's an enemy like down the field by our goal waiting to get, a pass to him. I go back there and I can cover them. But that was 90% of my experience. I always had kids spreading out different parts of the field, covering other players. So I guess I was just lucky. For once, I had a multiplayer experience where I didn't get a bunch of dum-dums.
No, 90% of my matches were were well spaced out. Like
Oh, okay.
I would say 90% of them felt that way. Especially when you got to 5v5, you kind of have to be that way.
Yeah.
Because if you're not, you will get scored on a lot because it's
The
very
pitch is
easy.
bigger.
It's very easy for the ball to get behind you if you're not paying attention. So yeah, the minimap is a huge part of this. And this is one of those elements where, so again, going back to Rocket League, when I played Rocket League, I would always play ball camera. So I would always have the camera focused on the ball, and I would just drive around no matter where the camera went. It was following the ball. So it was very easy for me to just drive that way. This does not have that. And it's very precision based. That mini map is crucial for passing because a lot of the times you're passing to not visually seeing it. You know that they're over there. You can directionally pass it that way, but you're not actually looking directly at them. So I like it's crucial in this game to actually know about that mini map.
Yeah. Which is something I want to, actually kind of praise this game though with its graphics. I have some issues with its graphics. We'll get into that part too. But one thing I did really like about this, because this happens to me a lot of times in Rocket League, where the colors, because in Rocket League, you can kind of customize your car's colors, where it's like, oh, I'm red, but it's kind of a pink, a really light pink, so it kind of looks white. So then if you're going against a white team, sometimes I got lost of who, are you actually on my team or not? In this game, you have very strong contrast colors: white, red, black, purple, pink. But what's great, I don't know if you guys ever noticed, there's actually a hue to all the people. So even if your team is red, there's actually kind of a green hue to them to kind of show that they're an ally. And there was a little bit of like a red hue on people who aren't on your team. And same with the ball. The ball to me was very well highlighted. I never got lost with that ball.
See, I lost the ball a lot, but in the context of like what Aaron was saying is I'm so used to ball cam that I would just kind of like, it would go and I'm like, oh crap, where is it? I could find it pretty easily because of the marker. Mini map, again, game changer. I don't know if it's a hot tip or not, but after about 10 hours of play, I finally discovered it accidentally. So that tells you how unobservant I am, really. But yeah, use the mini map and it is a lot easier. And then I actually started to like not having ball cam. Was the other weird part about that, as I started to like figure that out a little bit more.
Wait, this game had ball cam?
No. I wanted it because I was so used to it from Rocket League.
I don't think you could do it in this game.
No, I don't think you could either.
Because it's so precision based in shooting, like you actually have to aim at the goal when you're doing it. I don't think you could do that.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, Rocket League, the default setting is go or not go, and it automatically goes in a straight line. Whereas your straight line is having to hit forward. So I guess, that makes sense.
I just don't think that would be possible in this one.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But my issue though, for graphics though, so you can actually create a custom character. You do have some special skins, which you get a free one of the coach in the tutorial. But there is, I don't even know it's a real actual player. I'm assuming it's not. It kind of looks like, I can't remember his name, but because I'm assuming this small studio is not going to be paying real soccer players.
Wait, are you talking about the one in the store?
Yeah.
No, that's a real player.
Oh, it is? So they actually paid somebody for their likeness?
Yeah.
I didn't think they could afford it.
That's a real player. I forget who it was.
I mean, assuming it's not like Ronaldo or something like that. I don't think they all come at Ronaldo prices.
No, it wasn't Ronaldo.
Was it Ronaldinho? It was.
Yeah, I think that was it. Ronaldinho.
Yeah, it was Ronaldinho. He's Brazilian.
Pretty big name, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got the longer curly hair, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was him.
But so your custom character, you can kind of create some monstrosities, and boy howdy, do people create some monstrosities here.
I don't.
My biggest issue is the females. The females looked so weird. Their legs were extra long and their torso was extra short. I don't know why. I think it's just because every character has to be the same height. But it's still, I don't get why their legs were extra long. Like you literally could see their hip was higher than the men's.
Here's the thing though, right? You could create monstrosities, but I don't think they were supposed to be monstrosities.
Yes. And see, I don't know how to say this, because this is like one of I don't want to sound like I'm not I'm against inclusivity in games. Like they shouldn't include sex.
Oh boy, good
But
start,
this is
Keith.
the real problem. What happens when you have online games, especially anybody who goes back to like the days of Call of Duty, like this is pretty tame in comparison. But as soon as the internet and the gaming community as a whole gets the ability to do something like this, they're just gonna abuse the crap out of it.
Yeah.
And so I'm not saying it shouldn't be in the game, because I'm sure that for numbers of people who feel represented, like it is a good thing. And I think that it is good for that. But holy crap, people just abuse the heck out of it. And it's to the point where I'm like, now these, like, I don't know, again, if I was someone who wanted to feel included, now I feel mocked. And it's like a weird balance.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying is I think a lot of the customization you can do is much more for inclusivity. But you can obviously stack these things to where it gets out of hand. So that's what I mean, where they're monstrosities, but I don't think that was ever their intention. Like, obviously, the robotic arm and stuff like that, that was, I think, made more to be fun than anything else. It doesn't look like a prosthetic arm. It looks like a futuristic robot arm.
I mean, prosthetics are getting like that.
That's true. And this is supposed to be in the future. So maybe that's what they just assume prosthetics will look like in the future. So I don't know. Maybe that is them being inclusive there. But yeah, so I am kind of interested to see where they go. Obviously, I think as the studio grows, they're going to need to sell stuff in their shop. They're probably going to put a lot of crazy things in there. This looks rife for it.
I would have to imagine more soccer players at the very least. Like that's an easy one, right?
Yeah.
But definitely give me Cheech and Chong. I would definitely like to Ice Spice. She's a rapper.
It's coming.
I would like to play soccer as her.
This makes me wonder, Andrew, then, because I didn't realize this. I didn't really mess around with my look all that much. But I am really like tall, but like in the legs. Do I have female legs as a man?
Probably.
Is that an option?
I don't know.
Yeah, because I don't think
I look freakish.
It doesn't have a body type. Like it doesn't do like the body type thing. I think it just you set individual traits.
I was looking for where were the shortest shorts. That was like my main target, as I want to make sure I've got the shortest shorts possible. Yeah, and I noticed that this person, when I got to, had really long legs and really short shorts, and I was like, yeah, that's what I want. Now I'm wondering. I thought it was a
female, because I've always noticed with the females, they looked weird.
Interesting. I mean, I do. I look very weird.
But I mean, at the moment though, like with this season 0 stuff, I gotta say, like there's of course a battle pass. Yeah, I wanted to talk about the monetization. I gotta say though, from what I've seen though in the shop, okay, so there is a shop. The shop sucks. They did a terrible job setting up the shop, because in the shop, all you can buy is the soccer player. I already forget his name. Ronaldinho,
maybe.
You can only buy him with premium currency. It's 1,000. So it's typical equivalent about 100. Premium currency is about $1. So 1,000 is about $10. Obviously, you get a little extra if you buy a bigger bundle. But yeah, he's the only thing you can buy. You can only buy premium currency. But then, of course, you have in-game currency. I praise this game for its simple currency. In-game currency, premium currency. That's it. Just 2. Make it simple. But the shop literally just has that soccer player and then 4 clothing options. I was like, oh, maybe it rotates during the day. No, it's just those 4. You got to go to the character customization and go to jerseys and go all the way to the end to see where other jerseys are that you can buy. Like they didn't put it in the store tab, they had it hidden in the character creator in the back. And it's just like, man, this is a poor shop design here.
Yeah, this is clearly a company that has not done a free-to-play game.
It's not free to play.
Oh, this is not free to play.
It's $30. That was the other thing I wanted to mention.
Interesting.
Yep. I'm looking at it on Steam, $30.
Yeah, that's
they've hit 3 million players already, though.
This is kind of all right. So when I say this is a pass for now, I especially say this is a pass for now if you're paying $30. If you've got to at least play this on Game Pass. Like you've got to.
Yeah.
Because that changes a lot for me. This is a very strange game then for $30.
Yeah, this is a definitely play on Game Pass game, but definitely don't pay $30 for a game.
Yeah, man, that changes. So that changes everything because this is built like a free to play game. This
Yes.
has a shop like a free to play game. It's gonna have a battle pass like a free to play game, which is not unusual. But the content here is thin because that's
very
it.
thin. Yeah.
This is like what we are describing right now. We're not missing anything. Like this is it. It's thin. Okay. The only other thing that I think that's there are stats. But that's about it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I will say they're smart because this is also on the PlayStation Plus network too. So it's very smart to be like, oh, if you're paying a subscription fee, it's essentially kind of a free to play game. But you can also give us $30 if you actually want to buy it if you don't have the subscriptions.
So basically,
I always think that's at least smart to do. Yeah, but if this leaves Game Pass, it's like I mean, if there's more content, if this game leaves Game Pass as it is now, no, I would not spend $30. I'm with you 100% there, Aaron. But from what I'm having for fun in this game, they added more to it, maybe a career mode, some other fun game modes. I absolutely would buy this for $30. I mean, heck, I bought Rocket League back in the day, and I think I'm having more fun with this.
I don't know what more you could do with this though. That's part of the issue.
That was going to be my question. Is like, what do you do with this? Because Aaron, you said this at the beginning, this is where I feel like you should have an answer because you were the first person to say it's the bones are there. That there's something to this. They need to add on more. What is it that they need to add on to make this worth it?
Because I could care less with that. But I think maybe doing but I want this in every game. But I would like it if you could create your own soccer team. So you and 3 of your friends, 3 and 4 of your friends, or 5 of your friends, or 4 of your friends, you guys have your own soccer team and you do tournaments that way. I think a tournament would be kind of interesting. So instead of just ranked, you actually do a tournament mode.
Which Rocket League has.
Yeah. Like I think something like that would be kind of interesting. For me, the biggest thing is I think they just need to clean up some of that gameplay, get rid of some of that jank in there. I think that would be kind of a nice addition, but I don't know much more beyond that you would need.
I definitely need better cosmetics because I do not care about anything in the shop. Yeah.
At $30 though, even then that's going to feel thin.
Yeah. It feels like there should be a lot more at $30. They yes, you have Diablo, which now on Game Pass, but initially $70 game and plenty of skins that you can pay for and all the likes. But yeah, paying $30 for this game and then paying for skins on top of it feels like a lot.
Not to make this like the 7th week in a row, but Claire Obscure is like $50. So just for an extra $20, you get the game of the year. Why would you spend $30 on this when you can do that?
Valid point.
So I had to find some way to shoot them in there.
I think Rocket League back in the day, I mean, it's free to play now, but Rocket League, I'm pretty sure was a $30 game. It was either 30 or 20.
So Rocket League initially came on my radar because it was on PlayStation Network and they were giving it away for free.
Yeah, they're games for gold. I forget what they called it.
Yeah, and this was like well before it came to Xbox. I think even before it came to PC.
It's PlayStation first.
Yeah, and I remember being like, "This is awesome. When is it going to come to Xbox?" And it came out like a year later. But so it was like initially free, but I think you might be right. I think that was them doing like their free game promo, and then I think it cost money after that. I think you are right.
Yeah, but I think when it came to Xbox as free to play. Like it was on PlayStation.
I think it came for games with gold as well. So I think they kind of gave it away at first, but I remember it did cost money.
You could be right. I might be. I mean, it's been years.
Well, yeah, because I think you're right, and I want to say it was like season 1.
I don't remember buying it.
From what I'm looking, I think Rocket League was $20 when it launched.
Maybe I would have bought that.
Andrew was right. I think it was free to play. Is when we all grabbed it, and then it went free to play. It was a big deal, and they dropped like season 1 at the same time, like rehash the whole game.
Yeah, you could be right.
Yeah. Anyways, that's not really relevant. We're not talking about Rocket League.
Yeah.
We're talking about Rematch.
So, Aaron, did you buy this game's battle pass? You said as long as you're playing, you're gonna always buy a battle pass.
I did not.
You did say that.
I did not buy the battle pass because I want to wait for this game to be fixed.
Yeah.
It's fun. Am I going to go back to it right now? Probably not. I will probably wait for some updates to go through before I come back and check this game out, because this does scratch an itch for me.
Yeah.
The games are not very long. It's a competitive online game. I usually say free to play, and apparently this is an expensive $30 game. But yeah, I would come back to this in the future. I just don't think that this is something that I would go to right now. So no, I would hold off on buying a battle pass.
But the next thing I really want to talk about that I really hated with this game, and that is the music. I hated this game's music.
There isn't any really.
No, there is, but it's like I don't know if it's broken, but like there's literally one track and it like resets. I can't quite tell how it resets. Is it when I think the enemy team has the ball, it kind of kicks up, and then when you have the ball, it kind of goes silent, and then the enemy team gets the ball, and then it starts doing the track again, and it was just so inconsistent. It was driving me insane, which is crazy because like Rocket League has good music. It's very, house, it's rave kind of part of club
the music in Rocket League is awesome.
Yeah. Yes, but this, I'm like, I wanted to shut this off. It was annoying the absolute crap out of me.
I mean, I like, jokes aside, like I genuinely didn't even really notice it when it was there. I just and maybe it was because it was broken, but it did make me think of Rocket League, because I even had Spotify was, I think it was DJ, and it was, I don't know, it was playing some selection of music, and it kicked on. It wasn't in the video game list, and that's why it stood out to me. Is it played a Rocket League song, and it's like, why do I know this song? And I'm like playing, and as soon as I pulled up the name, I don't listen to house music. The name Mike Alt would mean nothing to me if it weren't for Rocket League. But as soon as I saw the name, I was like, oh yeah, that's Rocket League. It doesn't say it anywhere on there, but I just knew immediately. I was like, yes, that's what it was. And like, it's funny because we've been, Andrew wanted to call Claire Obscure or South of Midnight Halo music, and like, this isn't, Rocket League is not Halo music, but holy crap, you want to talk about identifiable, recognizable video game music, it's up there. And then Rematch just doesn't.
It's not.
It doesn't matter.
It's the music. Opposite.
There's not enough vuvuzelas either, too.
Some vuvuzelas would be great.
Yeah, I would actually appreciate that. Liven it up.
Feel much more soccer.
But Dimitri in the chat asked, how does the battle pass work? Because this does remind me, I wanted to ask you guys. So the battle pass is very typical. You have obviously your profile XP, but then you have another battle pass XP. So any XP you're earning within a match also levels up your profile and your battle pass. So it has a soccer, pitch, and you have different paths where you can kind of pick as to what you want to unlock. Obviously some things are locked behind the premium battle pass, while some are free. But what irritated me is I don't know. It to me was glitched, but there was a daily task, but it was only one daily task. And that was get your first win of the day. It was always checked off for me. It never refreshed. I think it was still giving me credit every once in a while, but it just didn't. Were you guys having that same issue?
Yep. Okay. Add that to the list of jank. Even when I lost games, it would check off first win. And I'm like, I just lost. What are you talking about? Yeah. I had that issue.
All right. But then getting the achievements, though, the achievements in this game are good. Because Rocket League, there's some that are incredibly hard. In this one, I think I have like over 400 gamer score already. There's a handful of just doing the workshops. A lot of them you're just going to get out naturally on your own. Because I know in Rocket League, there's some that are very hard to do. And this one, it's just like, get a save, an assist, and a score all in one match. Win 5 matches in a row. Like, that's probably one of the harder ones. But I will say, I think that's glitched because I'm ranked and I still don't have the achievement to win your first game. So I don't have that achievement. So there's definitely some issues with the achievements. But overall, the achievements are really good.
Oh, yeah, I got that one, but I just got it randomly.
There is one. There's a secret achievement, which I thought was dumb, and it's literally play with a friend. It's like, why'd they make this a secret achievement?
And I was going to ask, really, it is a valid point, and not that it needs to be a secret achievement. Did you actually play with anybody, Aaron? Like,
I did not.
I'm not saying like, oh my god, it changes the game. Like,
I don't have any friends.
But it is genuinely more fun playing with people.
It was. I was having a lot of fun.
Like even playing with Andrew, who wasn't able to chat because he was working, it was still more fun. And like Andrew mentioned, we were playing with one of our friends, Craig. Like he and I were on chat, so like just being able to communicate with your team actually does make it fun. It's not going to change your perception of the game by any means.
I believe it. I believe this game is built for actual teamwork and playing with friends. That makes complete sense to me.
You generally can feel when there's a group of people too, even if it's just like two of them, because they'll like one of them will almost always be goalie and they'll just control it and just always dish it to their friend.
Yeah. We definitely need to get some footage on our YouTube. But I wasn't physically chatting, but boy, did I use the quick chat. Anytime Keith would, drop the ball or something, I'd say, good job.
It made me laugh every time. I was like, I know he didn't mean that.
Man, he's roasting me good.
Because I always loved kind of being like a jerk. Anytime someone screw up, like, great, thanks, good job.
I would just say sorry for everything, whether I did something good or bad. I just like sorry.
We can all assume you were involved somehow with that failure.
I was just expecting Keith to be behind there, being like, oh, and getting so mad at guy just saying good job at him.
That was never my thing. That was Brian.
Yeah. You rock. Just kidding. Anyway, let's get to our final thoughts here on Rematch. So as I said at the beginning, Rematch to me is a game. I actually had a lot of fun with this. It definitely is, this is season 0. I think, this game already looks like it's having a lot of success. So I'm hoping, the studio is really able to work on this. As Aaron said, the bones here are great. When I usually played Rocket League, I'd play like 3-4 matches, lose all of them, get real frustrated and just stop. When I was playing Rematch though, I was still losing a handful, but I was also winning a good amount. But either way, the matches to me just felt so quick that I was like, one more match. I'm going to do another one. So I had a ton of fun playing this game. It's a great time playing with your friends. I disagree with Aaron. I think the skill gap on this is a bit easier than Rocket League. I feel like you can actually kind of learn some things, but this is a fun time. I'm giving it an 80. Like I said, I agree. I don't think at the time I would spend $30 on this, but get this game to season 2, maybe even season 1, I would say it's probably worth $30.
Yeah, I have nothing to really dislike about this game. I do music. Think that there's really, but even that didn't bother me. I didn't run into any experiences where it was a problem for me. But overall, it was a fun experience. I didn't get mad when I was losing. I would lose 4 games in a row. It wouldn't bother me. Unlike Rocket League, I will say scoring a goal in this game feels so good. Like it does in Rocket League too. Always there's something about it, but there really is something about scoring a goal in Rematch that just feels special. So I like it. I like it a lot. I especially like it. I think, playing with friends, it is a good experience. If you can find even just 1 or 2 other people to play with, just play some 3v3 and go out there and have a good time. But I think 80 is a good score. I like that score with Andrew.
Okay. So this game, the bones are there, but it is really thin around the edges. This needs more. It needs to remove some of the jank in the gameplay because the gameplay is king here. It's why you're going to have fun with it is the gameplay. So it's a testament that it's still a pretty fun game, even though it is inconsistent on that front. It's still a lot of fun, and it's clearly built itself an audience already in kind of its young days here. I mean, the Sifu creators, this is new for them. This is going to be new territory for them. So it'll be kind of exciting to see where Slow Clap takes it. But right now, I think it's worth just a small check-in, but nothing more than that. At least for now. I do want to emphasize that because if somebody comes back and hears this 6 months later and they're like, you idiot, it's like the biggest game in the world. It might be. It might be in 6 months. But I think it's just got some room to grow there. I'm going to give it. I'm going to give it a 71.
See, I mean, I don't disagree with you, Aaron. But yeah, to me, it's like the big question is very much, is this game going to keep going? Does this game have legs on it? And I think it does, especially if it's the women in the game. They have very long legs. But
it's a dad joke. Oh my gosh! Oh, so good.
Oh, I get it.
It's as if it's got the legs, and he says the women have long legs. Get it? It's super funny. That's super funny.
Thank you.
I just have. At one point, I said, "Here's the kicker," and nobody even acknowledged it.
Oh, that's a good one too, Keith.
Oh, how did we miss that?
Keith, that is so good, dude. So good.
Somebody out there is going to listen to that, and they're going to get it the first time, and they're going to be belly laughing.
No, they won't.
I
can promise you right now.
Are such fools for missing that joke.
There is a dad out there right now that's like, oh, that's good. He got him.
All right. Well, let's wrap it up here. Thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you so much to clearly my biggest fan in the chat, Dimitri. Thank you for joining us. All the people in our chat. Hey, he's my my brother who loves Tectonica.
Okay.
But like I said, make sure you check out GamePassGrabBag.com. Check out our website, see all our old reviews. Go to our link tree. Join our Discord. We always love chatting with people. Join us in our live recordings here every Wednesday around 8:30 EST. I've been your Hardcore Gamers host. You can find me on Xbox Live at Firebird01952.
I've been Keith. And
not on camera.
Well, it's because I'm just gonna play us out on this clip of my overtime game winner. But I just feel like everyone should see. Look at this. Time running out. Look at this. Shoots the defender.
You missed it.
Goes around and he scores it. Boom. That's a goal.
That game was 0-0.
Oh no! Oh, I forgot to mention. I had an overtime game. It was 0-0, and we were almost 10 minutes overtime.
Gosh,
it was the longest game ever. We won, thank God. I was goalie the entire time, and it's funny seeing the score at the end because as a goalie, like you obviously get points for every save and everything like that. I had like 10,000 score. The closest person next to me was like 4,000. I was like way above everyone in score.
All right, so I'm Aaron. You can't find me anywhere. But yeah, make sure you check out our YouTube channel. Check us out on Discord.
No, not being able to find Aaron anywhere is actually becoming a real problem. Please, if you have any information, please contact us.
Yeah, you gotta find me.
All right, everyone. We love you all. We'll see you again next week.